Hello 1100. I wanted to spend some time going over specifications and also the Construction Specifications Institute. To my dismay, I found out that most of the links that I've been using in the past are dead links. The CSI website is basically an all-exclusive website for members now. I was really disappointed that almost every link that I used to have takes me to purchase their book. CSI members and subscribers only. This is where most everything is. So even here, available to the public, if I go to like frequently asked questions, it really doesn't give me a lot. And then in addition to that, additional resources, if I go to numbers and titles of specifications, even when I clicked on that, it takes me to a login screen. So this is basically a giant commercial to try and gain more membership. So that's why I had you guys read what I think is a really good overview of what a specification is. It's just an intro. I'm going to give you some more, but this had a lot of verbiage in it that you guys might not be familiar with since you may not have any sort of construction or architecture experience. But I love this first sentence. Have you ever failed to be specific? So in a construction project, if you're not specific about something, it could create massive change orders. Now, what on earth is a change order? A change order is essentially if you have designed something and you haven't been specific enough and it's going to cost the owner more money, that's a change order. One example of this is, let's say you drew your elevations and you just wrote brick face, right? And you didn't give any specification or any specificity to the type of brick. So when your contractor goes to build that building, he might just get a really inexpensive brick veneer. And you say, absolutely not, I wanted like a quarried stone dry stack brick, something like that. And the cost is like 15 times as much. So as the designer, as the architect, because you weren't specific, there's now a change order. So there's a change between the brick that the contractor thought you wanted and the brick that you want for the project that you didn't specify in the project. There's the word specify again. I also thought this was a really good way of putting it. Although blueprints in certain documents can illustrate what a building should look like visually, an in-depth written explanation is needed to describe the construction process. So specifications do just that. So what I'm going to do right now is I dug up a spec section for you guys, or a spec booklet. So here, if I go up to the top a little bit more, this is from a project, an actual project. And here are the different divisions that I mentioned. Now there is a website that will take you to an overview of all of these different divisions and the subdivisions within them. So I'm going to skip down, but you can see on this page right here, there's masonry, so it goes over the grout, the brick veneer, I just talked about that, and the CMU, or concrete unit masonry. I know it as concrete masonry units. There's also a section on wood, plastics, and composites. You can see all of these here. And then there's one on openings. So we've got hollow metal doors and frames, flush wood doors, fiberglass doors. This is just an example of what it could look like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop down to Division 8, and I'm going to show you what it looks like inside of a specification section. So I've got a little bit to go here. And I'll probably just jump on the first spec that I see because honestly, once you've seen one, you've kind of seen all of them. So here is a specification for an overhead door. So this is section 08, which specifies the division, and then it's 3323. So every spec is in 3 parts. So part 1 is general, and I'm going to skip down here. Part 2 goes over the products, if there's any products that you're specifying. And then part 3 is the installation. I will get down here one day. Did I already skip it? No, I'm going to keep going. I'm gonna keep scrolling. This is really embarrassing, guys. But this is what happens when the CSI locks you out of everything. Oh my gosh, we're still going on products, people. And I skipped 3. Okay, 3.3, here we go, installation. So again, quick recap, every spec has 3 parts. Part 1, general, part 2, products, and then part 3, installation. And really what installation is it's a CYA clause, or a cover your bum clause. So during construction and even after construction, if anything goes wrong, we can look at the specs and say, hey, take a look, this is how we told you to install it. So even right here, install overhead coiling doors and operating equipment with necessary hardware, anchors, inserts, hangers, and equipment supports according to manufacturer's written instructions and as specified. That covers us, because as the architect we said, hey, this is how you're supposed to hang it. So if it falls, we need to make sure that you did it exactly according to the manufacturer's written instructions. And it kind of puts the liability right back on the contractor. So coming back up here, I'm going to scroll through the products just a little bit. Some of the products are the electric door operators. We've got manual door operators, a counterbalance mechanism. So all of these things go into the purchase of an overhead door. You don't have to memorize all of these little nuances. The overall picture that I want you guys to remember is that there are many different divisions of specifications, and we're going to memorize about a dozen to 20 of them, especially the first 11. And then each specification comes in 3 parts. So again, part 1, general, part 2, products, and then part 3, execution or installation. I may have called it installation, sorry, that's what I'm used to, but installation. Some other things that come up in installation or execution, they also go over how to prepare the space before and after the installation. So if you're about to do something really messy with some sort of an adhesive, you will go through the spec section and talk about how to prep the space before, whether it includes sanding or cleaning. And then afterwards, you also go through how to clean up the space after. So it's really interesting, all the different things that are involved. So again, this is a spec section. If you're ever curious to actually hold one of these in person, we've got several sets on campus in the technology building. Up on the 4th floor in room 403, I believe, or 405, we've got all of our blueprints and some specifications. I hope that before the end of the semester, I will get some specs that I can release to you guys. I've yet to get permission to publicly release any of these, but if I get my hands on some, I will definitely send them over to you. I've also included these 2 links for you. So ArtCat is a construction spec site, and you can look through here and find different types of specs. So for example, we've got openings. We went over those, so I'll just stick with openings. And when you click on openings, you can go through and see all of the different specs that they have. So these are all different doors and openings. So sliding aluminum framed glass. We've got, here's an overhead door. We talked about one of those. Going back, you can also see that there are specialties. That's where you might be able to find some fun stuff. Glass marker boards, visual display boards, wire mesh partitions, bullet resistant panels. Another site I included was suites. So you can see here all divisions. So here are the divisions that I was talking about, and again, I want to at least do the first 14 of them. So if we go under furnishings in here, division 12, under furnishings, we've got art glass, sculptures, wall hangings, draperies. So you can click on these, and the thing that's kind of fun about this is not only can you see the product, but some of these will include BIM models too. So if you are familiar with a BIM, these are objects that you can pull into Revit. So take a look at these, look around online. I'd love to see what you guys can find and add it to the discussion so we can see what types of specifications you guys were able to dig up.